World of Warcraft has been a cornerstone of gaming for nearly 2 decades, and there's no denying that pessimism has crept into the community. WoW's had its highs and lows, and we've experienced all of them together. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the issues that have fueled this pessimism and examining the steps Blizzard has taken to address them. I wanted to address some key issues that have sparked pessimism over the years. First being gold buying and bots. So, gold buying and bots have plagued the WoW economy for years, and for players who vest time grinding, seeing the market disrupted by bot farms and third-party sellers is really frustrating. Now, to combat this, Blizzard implemented ban waves to curb bot activity and reintroduced the WoW token, which allowed players to buy in-game gold for real money through a Blizzard-approved system. While this was intended to reduce third-party transactions and also to make them a quick buck, many players feel it legitimized pay-to-win mechanics in a way that underscores the integrity of the game itself. For example, during Shadowlands, bot farms were rampant in popular farming zones, driving gold inflation to new heights, which is very akin to most expansions. Players reported seeing some of the same bots for weeks, despite filing multiple reports, leading to frustration and distrust in Blizzard's enforcement policies. And we're seeing the same thing happen in Classic WoW, variation after variation, re-release after re-release. Hand in hand with gold buying and bots, real money trading is the next step. RMT undermines the game's integrity by enabling pay-to-win behaviors. Despite Blizzard's efforts, somewhat, to crack down, the problem persists, and it leaves many players disillusioned. For example, top-end Mythic Plus teams and Mythic Raid groups have even been accused and caught accepting real money payments for carries, further fueling the divide between everyday players and the elite community. If you want to see what this looks like in action, go on any retail server and go and trade. There is a 100% guarantee you'll see people selling Mythic Plus carries for RMT, real money trading. Moving away now from real money trading, gold, etc., we want to handle something and talk about something that's completely under Blizzard's control, and that's system bloat. For example, complex systems like Azerite armor, covenants, have added some level of depth to the game, but it's also led to a bunch of confusion and frustration. Imagine spending hours and hours and hours farming gear just to realize that you need gear or upgrades to that gear that require another hundreds, if not thousands of hours to optimize over in weeks and months that simply get replaced in the next raid tier. Players often complain about even needing external tools like simulations, guides, etc. just to make sense of their character optimization. And even outside of gear, for example, Covenants and Shadowlands for instance, it locked players into choices that were heavily influenced by their performance in-game, leaving many players to prioritizing min-maxing over personal preference. And this rigid structure left players feeling punished for experimenting or playing casually against the min-max culture of the game. Now, if that's Blizzard's fault or that's the players changing the way they've played the game for a long time in more of a min-max culture, I don't know. Moving on from systems, I wanted to go into cash shops. So the introduction of the cash shop in WoW, like for mounts, pets, level boosts, has been very, very divisive. Now, while it's largely cosmetic, these additions also often feel like a shift towards monetization over player satisfaction. Many critics often cite the Celestial Steed from Wrath of the Lich King as the moment Blizzard started testing the water for microtransaction. And since then, the shops expanded significantly, and many players feel this detracts from the spirit of earning rewards in-game. For example, look at the player count since Wrath of the Lich King when it was at its peak, and the slow decline as we've seen year after year. Is that a testament to how long the game's been out, or could it be a real downstream effect of the cash shop? Again, your thoughts. And finally, the main last point I wanted to hit that I believe are some of the key issues that sparked pessimism in the WoW community, which there's plenty of them, but think this one's really, really important, is the removal of game masters and automation of customer service. So the transition from personalized GM support to automated systems has streamlined processes somewhat for Blizzard, but it left many, many players feeling unheard and undervalued when issues arise. For example, in the case of hacked accounts or lost items, now they go through ticketing, and that system relies on automated response, leaving many feeling disconnected from the support process itself. Also, that process can also be griefed. People can spam report an account for simply taking a mob tag or skinning a devil's sore in Ungoro Crater when they wanted the skin tag. and that account can be banned for 14 days, and they have to go through an appeal process that can take anywhere from the tenure of the ban itself or 7 days because it's all automated. Again, unbelievably frustrating for player experience and will lead to a lot of players quitting. All right, now that we've covered a lot of the negative topics, I wanted to move on and give Blizzard a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And I wanted to talk about some of their attempts to address player concerns. First and foremost, I think one of the biggest one that we've seen in recent years was the fact that we have WoW Classic servers. After years of player requests, the whole Nostalria situation, Blizzard introduced Classic WoW. And this move, like it or not, it was a significant acknowledgement of the community's voice and reignited nostalgia for many players. The release of Classic WoW wasn't without challenges though, such as long server queues and the emergence of RMT within Classic itself. However, the overall reception highlighted that Blizzard could still connect with its player base when listening closely. Now, some may argue that this was simply a revenue decision because they knew what Classic WoW was going to be such a big hit from studies and surveying the players, but again, you have to say they listened to the community just a little bit. The second is, again, and this is something that I would have never expected from old Blizzard at all, but it was they acknowledged mistakes. Blizzard has shown some willingness to admit missteps, such as Shadowlands systems, taking steps to address player feedback. For example, the removal of conduit energy in Shadowlands was a direct response to player frustration over the restrictive gameplay mechanics. And another instance was the apology for Warlords of Draenor lack of content, where Blizzard admitted they fell short and pledged to do better moving forward. And since they've acknowledged some of these mistakes, truth be told, we have been seeing some recent improvements. In recent years, Blizzard has made notable strides, like enabling cross-faction gameplay, revamping talent trees, focused player choice in Dragonflight. These updates reflected a shift towards addressing long-standing player concerns, and even as simple as Dragonflight's crafting system overhaul, that's even now in the War Within, has been praised for adding depth and meaningful progression to professions, an area that had been neglected for a ton of years. So now that we've evaluated the good, the bad, I think it's time to come somewhere in the middle with the nuanced reality of the situation. And we need to balance the good and the bad. It's clear that player frustration stems from valid concerns, but it's equally clear that Blizzard's trying to evolve and adapt. Maintaining a live service game of this scale is a monumental challenge. However, some players will say, I'm a paying customer, you're a multi-million-dollar company, fix it. But you at least have to say they've been trying to. I mean, for example, let's look solely at Retail WoW for a second. While Shadowlands was criticized for its horrible story, many players have praised the storytelling and world building in the War Within. This duality showcases the complexity of balancing different aspects of the game to satisfy a diverse player base. WoW's legacy brings both expectations and scrutiny. While not every decision is universally praised, Blizzard's efforts to listen, improve, deserve some recognition alongside the constructive critique. So, in conclusion, what fuels the WoW community's pessimism? Is it rooted in Blizzard's decisions? Or is it the natural response to a game with such a long history? I want you to let me know in the comments, and please feel free to go at it. Now, my opinion, perhaps the answer lies somewhere in between. It's a mix of nostalgia, frustration, and hope for the future. For as long as WoW is a live service, this discussion will always be ongoing, and your perspective as a player really matters. If you made it this far in the video, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sticking around. If you enjoyed the discussion, consider liking and subscribing for more content. And let's keep the conversation alive and thoughtful in the comments below. Thanks again, guys, for checking out the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.